Welcome to Celebrity Investing, your go-to source for insights, tips, and updates on navigating the exciting landscape of personal and global finance. Please like, share, and subscribe for more exclusive content. This is part 1 of demystifying goodwill in mergers and acquisitions. Goodwill versus intangible assets, key differences and why they matter in business valuation. When evaluating a business, goodwill and intangible assets often steal the spotlight. But what are they, and why do they matter? Goodwill reflects a company's reputation, customer loyalty, or brand strength, value beyond what's on paper. Intangible assets, like patents or trademarks, are harder to see but just as critical. Understanding these concepts helps investors and businesses make smarter decisions about value and growth. Defining goodwill. Goodwill is a unique concept in accounting that goes beyond what you can physically touch or see. It represents value that isn't tied to tangible assets but still plays a significant role in a company's worth. Most often, goodwill comes into play during mergers or acquisitions, so understanding its nuances is key. What is goodwill? Goodwill typically surfaces during business acquisitions when the purchase price exceeds the fair market value of tangible and identifiable intangible assets. Why would a company pay more than what the assets are worth? Because those extra dollars reflect something intangible: brand recognition, customer relationships, employee expertise, or even a prime location. Think of goodwill as the silent engine driving a company's success. You may not see it on the factory floor or in an office building, but it's there, creating value. Here's an example. Imagine a successful coffee shop that's been a local favorite for years. If another company buys it, they're not just paying for the physical location or the coffee machines. They're also paying for the loyal customers, the trusted brand, and the goodwill the shop has built over time. Types of goodwill. Goodwill isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. In fact, it falls into 2 distinct types: purchased goodwill and inherent goodwill. Knowing the difference between these can help clarify how goodwill impacts a company's valuation. Purchased goodwill. This type arises from a business acquisition. It's recorded as an asset on the buyer's balance sheet during the transaction. For instance, if Company A buys Company B for $5 million but the assets only total $4 million, the remaining $1 million is considered purchased goodwill. Inherent goodwill. Unlike purchased goodwill, inherent goodwill isn't tied to any specific transaction. It exists naturally within a company, built up through years of strong reputation, customer relationships, and consistent performance. However, since it's not purchased, it doesn't appear on the balance sheet. It's the built-in goodwill that makes a company appealing to buyers in the first place. Each type of goodwill tells a story about a company's value. While purchased goodwill reflects an acquisition's premium, inherent goodwill represents long-term success and trust built over time. Defining intangible assets. When you think about business value, physical assets like buildings or equipment might come to mind. But a company's worth often goes deeper, into things you can't touch, intangible assets. These are the unseen yet essential pieces that give a business its edge, like patents or trademarks. They don't sit on a warehouse shelf, but they deliver measurable value over time. What are intangible assets? Intangible assets are non-physical items that hold value for a company. They're not something you can hold in your hands or see with your eyes, but they can make or break a business. These assets often give a company unique advantages in the marketplace, setting it apart from competitors. Think about brands like Apple or Coca-Cola. Their products alone aren't what make them globally recognized. They thrive because of their brand image, patented technology, and trademarks. These are great examples of intangible assets in action. Other examples include customer lists, proprietary software, and franchise agreements. In accounting, for an intangible asset to appear on the balance sheet, it needs to be identifiable and provide economic benefits. This means it must either arise from legal rights, like a trademark, or be separable from the business, such as a customer contract that can be sold. Types of intangible assets. Intangible assets come in many forms, each playing a distinct role in business operations. Let's break them down into key categories. Patents. These protect inventions or unique processes, granting the holder exclusive rights for a set period. For example, if a tech company develops software with advanced AI capabilities, a patent can prevent others from copying it. Trademarks. Trademarks are symbols, logos, names, or phrases that make a company or product recognizable. Think Nike's swoosh or McDonald's golden arches, both iconic trademarks that drive brand loyalty. Copyrights. Copyrights apply to original creations like books, music, films, or software code. They give the creator exclusive control over how their work is used and distributed. Franchises. A franchise agreement allows one company to use another's branding or business model. For example, a local fast food restaurant operating under the McDonald's name pays for the right to use their proven systems and brand power. Customer relationships. These include customer lists or long-term contracts that ensure repeat business. A company with loyal, consistent clients has a built-in pipeline of revenue, making this a valuable intangible asset. Trade secrets. These are confidential practices or information that give businesses a competitive edge, like formulas, strategies, or algorithms. Think of Coca-Cola's closely guarded recipe. Understanding these categories makes it easier to see how intangible assets contribute to a company's overall value. They don't collect dust in a storeroom, but their impact on revenue can be massive. Whether it's brand recognition or exclusive innovation rights, intangible assets are often the backbone of long-term business success. Goodwill versus intangible assets. Understanding the differences. When it comes to business valuation, goodwill and intangible assets often spark confusion. While both are non-physical and contribute to a company's value, they serve very different purposes and are treated differently in accounting. Let's break down what sets these two concepts apart and why grasping their distinctions is so important for financial planning and reporting. Key differences. At first glance, goodwill and intangible assets might look similar. They're intangible, non-physical sources of value. But when you dig deeper, the way they're valued, measured, and recorded in financial statements clearly shows their differences. Valuation. Goodwill arises during acquisitions. It's calculated as the excess amount a buyer pays over the fair value of tangible and identifiable intangible assets. For example, if a company is sold for $10 million but its identifiable assets total $8 million, the $2 million difference is recorded as goodwill. On the other hand, intangible assets, such as patents or trademarks, can be valued independently. This is often based on their market demand, legal protections, or ability to generate future income. Measurement. Goodwill cannot be measured or separated from the business. It's a blanket value accounting for things like brand reputation and loyal customers. Intangible assets, though, are measurable and distinct. For instance, you can pin a precise value to a patent based on its legal lifespan or revenue potential. Recording on financial statements. Goodwill only appears on the balance sheet when a company acquires another business. It's recognized as a single line item under long-term assets. Intangible assets, however, are recorded individually if they meet accounting standards, meaning they must provide future economic benefits and have a defined cost of acquisition or creation. In short, think of goodwill as inseparable from the company's overall success, while intangible assets are like specific tools contributing to that success. Why the distinction matters. Understanding the difference between goodwill and intangible assets isn't just an accounting exercise, it's critical for evaluating a company's financial health and making sound investment decisions. But why does it matter so much? Accurate business valuation. You can't assess a company's true value without separating goodwill from intangible assets. For instance, overestimating goodwill could inflate a company's worth, leading to poor investment decisions. Intangible assets, on the other hand, can be more easily examined and appraised, offering clearer insight into a company's strengths. Impairment testing. Goodwill is subject to annual impairment tests, where companies must evaluate whether its value has declined. If goodwill is overvalued, it can result in write-offs, which directly impact earnings. However, intangible assets with finite lifespans, like patents, are amortized over time, spreading out their expense and reducing financial surprises. Stay tuned and continue to watch our videos to gain valuable insights into the world of finance. Subscribe, like, and share to continue your journey to financial success.